This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to yet another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And today begins a new arc, a new journey for us over here at the Saturday Morning Mysteries podcast.
In the back of my head right now. Like
nice music. I'll start fading in the jungle music here at this point. Because we've got a new show that we're ready to cover. It's going to be an experience, but yes. I guess, should we do background on why we're covering the show that we're covering before we talk about the show we're covering as an introduction? Or do you want to go ahead and tell the people what we're covering first?
I think let's talk about why we decided. Tell them the name of the show, and then let's say why we're doing, or what inspired us to find this show.
The inspiration.
Yes.
So the show that we are covering is called Animalia.
Yes.
Cue wild jungle music. And this show, Animalia. Yes, this show. It is. I wish I could say it was a throwback for me and Grace. I don't think either of us watched it growing up, but we were huge fans and still are huge fans of the network channel that this show was broadcasted on. Yes, the channel. It aired on the one, the only public broadcasting service, aka government name, aka frequently known as PBS. Yes. Probably a staple, an institution in just about every household through the 90s and early 2000s, I would say. The one and only PBS. It's a public broadcaster based in America for anyone watching outside of the United States. And it's known very well as being a nonprofit or like a non-commercial airing for free to television. A variety of shows, mostly educational. I would consider it almost like public service type of shows. So very, things looking into history, educational shows for kids, particularly when they started the PBS Kids program, which I think actually started in like 94, maybe. I did look that up. Yeah. So basically another thing that we grew up with, particularly because we were born only a year or two before then. And so we figured, PBS is currently doing this really cool online campaign, the social media campaign. Everyone go on Instagram or X and just search the hashtag viewers like me.
PBS.
And where does that come from? PBS, under PBS, yes. But if you search that hashtag, you'll hopefully see a whole bunch of people kind of reliving the nostalgia from what they were doing growing up watching PBS, what it meant to them as a child, how important it is in their life. I'm sure, Grace, you and I have many memories that will share over the course of this arc and our next arc, because we're going to do two arcs of PBS shows in a row. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Buckle up.
But they're doing this campaign just to basically bring the nostalgia back into everybody's lives, remind people how important of a service this public broadcasting network is.
And their tagline / they always used to say brought to you, thanks to viewers like you.
Like you. Thus, because it's publicly funded. Exactly. Not funded by major corporations. Exactly. Viewers like me, like us. So I think it's a great tagline, great hashtag. So join in on the fun, on the campaign, whether it's actually supporting PBS by watching their programs or donating to them. Just, do the hashtag viewers like me on any social media platform you use, and share what your favorite memory from PBS shows were, or from, and I guess it doesn't have to be PBS Kids. I think in our case it would be, because we probably watched it more as kids than we do now as adults. But share those memories, because PBS is important, man. It's a good service, and it definitely helped, I think, Grace and me.
For both of us.
Exactly. Very formative. Exactly what I was going to say.
We're thinking of the same show as we say this that we can't cover because it's not animated.
Exactly.
I mean, eyes, knowing what show we're both saying was most formative for us.
One could say that only the most important, perhaps the two most important shows, three actually most important shows to ever grace televisions, in American
Like
history in no
PBS.
particular order: Wishbone, Sesame Street, and Reading Rainbow. But I mean, what do I know?
But I mean,
Anyways,
who's to say?
of
But
just the
all of
live
these
action.
did come
Yes,
from PBS and literally
PBS.
change our culture and world
Our
and us.
lives, literally.
So,
Yeah. And that's just the live action. I named 3 live action shows. We haven't
exactly.
even touched the surface. You got Arthur. I watched Arthur a hell of a lot growing up.
Hell
Clifford
yeah.
the Big Red Dog,
My dream. I
Dragon
wanted that
Tales,
life.
some other. Yeah, I wanted that so bad. Other than the part where Clifford would like destroy everything, but he was so
Right.
cute. It's
But like,
okay.
he was just
And
so big.
and probably the biggest show that a lot of us know from PBS that I'm not going to mention yet, actually, because we're probably going to talk about it in a
Yeah, we'll
couple
talk
months.
about
And
it at
so
some
we'll
point.
just save it for then. But
We'll
that's a
just
hint at
save
what
it
we're
for
covering
later.
after Animalia, which, yes,
Exactly.
another PBS Kids classic. And
Yes.
so Grace and I did not watch this show growing up. We
Nope.
actually just learned about it recently when
While
we
we were
were
looking up
looking up
PBS animated shows.
exactly. And this one popped up, and we were like, it might be just crazy enough to work. I think. Does that
This
not
might
sum
be
up our
crazy
text
enough for us to
messages?
fucking do it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was texting
This,
Alexis watching the first episode. I'd be like, I can't tell if this is a great idea or our worst idea, but this is wild. What is fuck is happening?
and
And we
anytime you have to
said,
ask that, lean into it and
yeah,
make
that
it
means
your
we gotta
greatest
do
idea
it.
ever. Just make
Yes.
it your greatest idea. Yeah.
You're so right. You're so right. And we
So
are. We are leaning
on
in.
that note, Grace, you wanna I'm gonna hand it to you, and we can
Perfect.
start this arc of Animalia. Explain
Perfect.
everything, because I am
Everything.
lost so far watching the first or watching my first episode that I will
Yes.
cover.
Well, yes,
So
it turns out episode one and episode two of this show are indeed a part one and part two. And we didn't
yeah,
realize that. And so Alexis watched her second episode with no context. So I'm going to explain now what will help give
great,
context to her show.
great.
So, yes, I will be doing season one, episode one of Animalia. And as always, when we start a new show, I'm going to give a bunch of background on the show itself and like the
Hmm.
premise of the show. And another tangent that I decided to go on for this. And then we'll talk
Excellent.
about the first
Can't wait.
episode.
Cool.
So, there's not too much lore about the development of the show, but it was a two-season show that actually originally premiered in Australia in
Mm,
2007. So it's an Australian show originally.
okay.
And then it came to PBS shortly after that. I think probably in 2007, 2008-ish as well,
Yeah.
which probably explains why we didn't see it. It was on like the PBS Kids side of things.
We were a little older by
Like, yeah,
then.
like eighth
Yeah.
grade-ish, ninth grade by then.
Yeah.
But it's actually based off of a 1986 picture book of the same name, Animalia, and it's
Mm.
a picture book by, I think you pronounce his name Graham Base.
Mm.
Graham, it's a very British spelling of it, British
Ah,
slash Australian, because he is
Australian,
British
maybe.
slash Australian. However, said picture book is a beautifully illustrated children's book that is like an alliterative animal alphabet. So it's like A is for alligator, B is for
Oh,
butterfly
cute. Okay.
kind of thing. But it's
Nice.
like instead of just one page with like one picture, I think there's like, on the A page, it's for alligator, but there's also some like funny little tongue twisters that are alliterative. And
Mm.
there's like a bunch of illustrations, almost like like I Spy of a lot of other
Ooh, I
things. So
love
like
it.
on the
Nice.
D page, there's like dragons and dinosaurs you have to find, that kind of thing.
Okay. That's cool.
Um, but it's for me entirely unclear how that book of just an alphabet is related to this show, besides the fact that the author slash illustrator was like Australian and the show is an Australian show and that it's about animals.
Can I say one thing, not to derail this early
Oh,
on?
everything's gonna be derailed. This
We're
that
we're derailing a shit ton today.
we're not even derailing, we're like cranking up the rails, the tracks. We're ripping up the
We're
entire
speeding
track.
it up.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you described the book. I was thinking that the books were going to be based off of, like Animorphs,
Yes.
those books. I was thinking it would be more along that genre, not just like, oh, cute alphabet and like find the picture
Well,
thing.
why would you ever
Because
have thought
Grace
that? Why would you ever thought it was an alphabet book?
never, because of how crazy the plot of this show is. And because some of the comments, when you just Google this show and it comes up on like Rotten Tomatoes or
Uh-huh.
IMDb, there are people in the comments who are so angry that the show, quote unquote, diverts so much from the book. They're
God, I
like,
fucking hate
it's
people on
the
the internet.
source material is not respected at all. And it's like, well, wait, it's a fucking alphabet book. I thought that it was going to be some epic, like, adventure story, like Animorphs, like animals becoming
That they just
heroes. And so for
totally
you to
changed
say
the
that,
plot.
hilarious. Yeah. I think the Wikipedia page even says that, like, it's loosely based on the Animalia
It's like
books
it
written
shares
by
the
Graham.
name and the fact that it has animals and it was an Australian illustrator. It like they consulted with like Graham Base to like make the show like years
Yeah.
before and like in the 90s, like years before it was made. And he was like, sure, go for
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take the check. Why not?
Yeah, sure. You can put me down as like a consulting producer. I don't have to do anything, right? Go for it. Cool.
Or do you want me to
Oh
recite the
man.
alphabet for you? I got
Oh
you.
God, that makes me hate internet trolls so much. Like I'm serious. People are in the comments or like leaving reviews saying like does nothing to like
Honor
forget
the
what did they
original
say? Yes,
text.
I exactly.
Yeah, because in
Exactly.
this first episode, there wasn't even like a hint of anyone learning the alphabet of anything
People were pissed. They
related
thought
to it.
I wanted to learn the alphabet from this show, and nary a character said the alphabet.
I am going right to IMDb about
Leaving
this.
my review.
Yeah,
Warrior
so
of the keyboard.
I like I was flabbergasted by this. I went
That's
to so many different
incredible.
Wikipedia pages to figure this shit out, and nope, that's it. It was just an alphabet book.
That's it.
It's a
Okay,
really it's a
great.
best-selling one, so you know,
Yeah, so that's good. You know what? More credit to the
good.
writers of this show then.
Yeah,
I was really thinking they were pulling this from different source material. So for this to all be their own ideas is even more impressive.
sure is. I don't know, maybe copyright law is just
Sure is.
different in Australia. They were like,
Yeah.
we want to name it Animalia, but we can't. There's already a piece of media named after like the scientific name for an animal kingdom. How do we do it? We base it on the book, quote unquote.
Yeah. It's not going to be based on the book at all.
Yeah, we won't tell him. We won't tell him.
Incredible.
So, yeah, so
Okay.
that's the source material, is the base of this
Wow.
book.
Great.
And so yes, this show, the brainchild came around in the 90s, but it took a few years to fundraise for and to actually have the money to
Mm,
make because it was in the early 2000s, and this show is all CGI animation.
mm,
Which, I mean, CGI is still expensive as hell, but back then it was even more expensive because we were less efficient at doing it. So,
yeah.
like, we're now more than, every single year we have an even better way to make CGI, a quicker, more
Yeah.
efficient way to make CGI, et cetera, et cetera. But back then, like, it took a lot of money and a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
And while I was thinking about this, because I was like, oh yeah, like CGI popping off in the early 2000s. Like this is when it was
Hmm.
like every movie is starting to
Really
use
good.
this.
After the Matrix, man. Whoo.
I know
That.
exactly. And so I decided, Alexis, to very briefly, we're going to take a step back from Animalia and our alphabet for a
Yeah.
second and look,
Not the alphabet.
not the alphabet, we need it.
The whole purpose of
So
the show.
I decided to briefly look into some of the history of CGI, but
Ooh, I love it.
specifically, I decided to look at like the timeline of CGI, like
Hmm.
in like mass media and like movies
Yeah.
specifically. And I just decided to like highlight some of the groundbreaking moments in like feature films,
Yeah.
specifically movies that either I think you've seen or that I know we both love. And it's one of those things that it's like I could have written a line for every single year because there's so because like CGI is so broad of a category. It's
Hmm.
like tell me the history of like film cameras, like filming
Yeah.
techniques. It's like
Yeah.
every time someone makes a movie with CGI, like something new has been created in it. And
Mm.
so thus I want to give that caveat of like we've got some time jumps here. Again, this is me just wanting to talk about the ones that like I wanted to talk about and
Yeah, the big hits. The big
yeah,
hits for this
are big
podcast.
hits.
Yeah,
And like one that
exactly.
I put in here because I was like, I'm sure Alexis has seen this. So
Yeah.
the
Cool,
first
cool.
one, so while they started experimenting with computer graphics and animation in the 1940s, the first major film ever to use a full CGI scene, and actually they used it in their opening sequence, was Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. It's got like the
Oh,
spirals and like the eye
yeah.
coming out and that kind of stuff. So that was like the like is
Interesting.
kind of considered the first like CGI feature film moment ever
Yeah.
happening. Although
Okay.
the guy who animated it had been like working on CGI for a while on like little
Hmm.
things. So the
Cool.
first film that combined live action and CGI in the same thing or same scene, I think, and some of this
Yeah.
stuff like got so technical that I was like, is this what it's
Mm.
saying? And I think
Yeah.
that's what it was saying here. Was 1982's Tron, which is like
Oh,
pretty
okay.
heavily, yeah, CGI.
Yeah.
The
Nice. Huh.
first, this one is extremely important to me as the most perfect film ever made. The first,
Oh.
what's considered the first realistic CGI
Oh.
animal.
I know.
You might not actually.
Oh, okay. I knew it
It's
was going to be an animal movie though when you said the most perfect film ever made.
well, it's just one moment of an animal in an opening scene. It's a white snow owl. I'm really describing it mainly for Jen and Kendall
Oh,
listening to this. It starts
gotcha.
off in a dark screen with a white, like snowy owl flying through, which was fully CGI'd. I didn't know until this moment.
Oh.
1986's Labyrinth. It's
Wow.
the only moment
Incredible.
we just have our snowy
That's
owl
the
flying through, and it's
and
CGI. I
that's
always thought
the
it was real.
and you're saying that's the only use of CGI in that or that just
At least for like the most realistic CGI animal that had been
got
made
you
to
at
that
that time.
date.
Okay, I
Yeah,
see. Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
hmm
Of course that
Again,
yeah, that's a
a
big one for
perfect
you.
film.
You're right.
That's a
That's-
huge one for me. But
yes.
I wonder if this was the one you were thinking that I was thinking about, which was
Mm.
the what's considered the first photorealistic CGI creatures.
Hmm.
1993. I'm mainly mentioning it so we can once again talk about Zaddy Jeff Goldblum. 1993's Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Is
It's
that what
not
you
what I
thought
was
I was
thinking of.
originally? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's not, but that's a good one. That is a good
Yes.
one.
Yes. That was the
Yeah.
first photorealistic CGI
Yeah.
creatures.
And they
The
crushed it, by the way. People were so like mind blown
I
when that
I
came
mean,
out.
makes
And it holds up
sense.
still, all things
I mean,
considered.
it's
So,
incredible
yeah.
to this day.
Yeah.
So then the first feature-length film made entirely of CGI, so an entire animated film of CGI, was
Hmm.
1995's Toy Story,
Mm,
which I guess I
hmm.
hadn't
Okay.
realized was CGI type of animation, which makes sense
Yeah.
though when you say it and think
Yeah.
about the animation. Um, the first CGI lead character that was in a live action film. So like everyone else is human, but a feature length
This one
film with
character.
a CGI lead character, something we've talked about in this show actually.
That's okay. Yeah.
Casper.
Okay. I was trying to remember. Thank you. So that is kind of what my mind was thinking. I was thinking
Uh-huh.
either that or like um not Beethoven, Homeward Bound or something with like the
Oh,
dogs or
oh.
something. I didn't
No,
know if they
those
were
were
CGI or not. When you said
actors.
most perfect, those were actors. But
Oh yeah,
also
most
it was
perfect film, you're
picking my
right. But
brain.
I do
Yeah.
love that film so
But
much.
it was really picking at my brain. Like, didn't we cover one of the first CGI somethings on this? And now I'm embarrassed
We
because, yeah, that
did.
was my
It was
episode and I didn't
yours.
even remember what I said. It's like, what was that? Thank you for
Classic.
reminding me.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, of course, of
Cool,
course.
cool. Good old
And then
Casper.
I literally just have written The Matrix. That's all. But
And thus, that brings
specifically,
us to today.
and specifically though, I should have written down the actual name of the style that was like so revolutionary in Matrix, but I think it's literally called like bullet time, and it's
Hmm.
like the use of
It's
like
funny.
this. I know. I'm like, did they name it
Yeah.
after me? Like, did Matrix
Right.
invent
What came
this, or did this
first?
already exist, kind of thing?
Yeah.
But it's basically it's this technique in CGI that like almost separates viewers from time because of
Yeah.
like the way motion, it's not just normal slow-mo, but it's like the like way motion is happening that seems unnatural or is so exaggerated or something like that. But yeah, obviously
Hmm.
Matrix
Hmm.
used it
That's
every
exactly.
8 seconds,
And now
essentially.
every yeah, now every action movie does the same freaking slow-mo
Exactly.
slash cool it sort of
Yeah,
moving, yeah, outside
yeah,
of time
type
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Revolutionaries. Hmm.
Truly. So then we have just two more I want to mention,
Mhm.
both
Only
very
two?
important films. And again, actually, I would say the last couple I've named, all perfect films. Can you tell I was biased in what I decided to pick? Oh, I've
A
only
little
picked
bit,
perfect
yeah.
films.
Yeah, and I'm
So
waiting for you to say another one that I know you and I just
it's
know
probably this one because we're
yes.
going in a
Okay.
timeline here. We're 2001
Yes.
now. First
Yes.
AI for digital
21.
actors, aka using photorealistic motion capture characters via the classic. Now we see them in every fucking action film, Marvel film, etc. The motion capture suit that records
Yeah.
movement and then applies digital characters afterwards. It's 2001's Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. Well,
Uh,
Alexis, what's in the
what?
background?
What's
Let's
that?
You need to roll back and reach.
What's is
Wait, are we
this
talking about Fellowship
is
of what's this
this
picture? Plug
is
for
this
our
Lord of the
YouTube,
Rings
everyone.
starring that
Oh
handsome
my
man
God,
in the
is that a
middle?
picture of Alexis
Is that
with
Orlando
Legolas
Bloom?
from a weekend ago? Oh my
What?
God.
You mean Lord of the Rings, like the one that he was in? Like, what about Fellowship? What about the Two Tower? What any like this guy?
This old
Him? That guy? That none of this was planned either.
guy?
For
No,
those
the second I
listening,
saw that
this
you had
is
that out earlier today, I was like,
we're gonna shoehorn
got
that
her.
in somehow. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And
plug
of
for our
course,
YouTube.
oh yeah, huge plug for our YouTube to see
Yes.
that picture. And yes, all
Yes.
of Lord of the Rings films use lots of incredible CGI and was extremely
Indeed.
groundbreaking in it, including Weta Studios. No brag, I've toured that studio before, which is
Oh,
like yeah,
nice.
in New Zealand. Toss
Oh
toss. I've seen
yeah.
all of their Oscars. Toss toss. It's open to the
Wow.
public. Anyone can do it, but you know,
Oh, but not
I
everyone
wanted
can
to
go to
feel.
New Zealand.
I needed to feel special after your picture with Orlando Bloom because
Honestly,
I'm
that's
still
more
mad.
special.
Alexis did try and FaceTime
That's
me in, but they didn't
I
allow
did.
phones,
They would not allow phones
and I
though,
missed the call
and
anyways. So,
yeah, so it's okay. You were there in spirit very, very
yes,
much. So,
exactly. So
yeah.
then I would like to name another perfect film, the first CGI animated film to win an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film. So it beat out all
Mm.
of the other animated films that year. Also 2001's Shrek.
I'm so there's 5,000 thoughts. I did not know that one Best Animated Film at the Academy Awards.
Same.
I'm almost ashamed to admit that.
Yeah.
But
I only thought it won like Nickelodeon
wow.
awards.
Yeah, sure. Maybe like People's Choice Awards, maybe a Golden Globe, but I did not know that it
You know
won the
what?
Oscar for Best Animated
Wikipedia said it
Film.
did, so I
I
believe
believe
it.
it. I
I believe
absolutely
it.
believe it. And well, and in hindsight, I believe it too. Like even if
Yeah.
Wikipedia didn't say it, if someone told me that on the street, I would stop and think about it and I'd be like, actually, yeah, that does make
Yeah.
sense.
Right. And it was
I
like the
could see that. It's such a
first,
good movie,
yeah,
but
and like the
wow.
CGI again was like
Yeah.
unlike any other fully
Yeah.
animated film CGI that had happened up to that date. So,
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of surprised that one and like Toy Story didn't win the year that it came out, you know?
mm,
Or but I mean, that's a whole
probably
other
because they didn't have
conversation
Donkey
for a
in
whole
it.
other that's where they went wrong.
I
Eddie
mean,
Murphy, man.
I know
He's the
exactly.
key.
They couldn't, they
You're
didn't have the
not
same
wrong.
cast.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz,
Wow.
Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy,
You
please.
know, yeah, like let's be real.
Somebody once told
Once
me.
freaking Smash Mouth doing like
Exactly.
the
Come on.
album, please,
Come on.
let's
As
go.
if also Toy Story didn't have huge stars in it as
Woody
well.
Allen,
Tom
right? Or
fucking
no,
Hanks.
not Woody Allen. Good
No,
God.
no.
No, no,
No,
no.
no, no,
Keep him
no,
away
no, no.
from a
Tom
children's
Hanks.
movie. No, no, no. I'm thinking of You've Got a Friend. Is that Paul
Oh,
Newman? Paul
Randy
Newman.
Newman.
Randy Newman. Good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
You're
names.
just panicked because
Woody.
Toy Story didn't win. Keep him out of fucking kids.
Yeah. Anyways,
So, yes, anyways. And then I said the rest is
incredible.
history from there because
Yeah,
those were the only movies I wanted to
basically.
talk about,
I mean,
essentially.
it's true though. You think about it, all every movie that you just named, I would say is like a revolutionary or trailblazing movie
Yeah.
in the genre that it falls in. You
Yes,
know, especially
exactly.
like with the Hitchcock movie, like he changed the game for
Yeah.
thrillers and stuff like that. Labyrinth is like epic fantasy sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And then obviously
Leather
so is Lord of the
outfits
Rings, leather outfits, which are
on David
everywhere now in
Bowie.
Hollywood. Yeah.
They can't get
And
enough.
yeah. So it's just, you're right. Like that's it. That's the history because
Yeah.
everything else is derivative of like the work that went into there now,
Yeah,
as
and
far
again,
as
now
CGI
everything
stuff
is
goes and
CGI.
special
There's,
effects goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
way less practical effects. I mean, obviously that's a huge blanket statement, but yeah, so now it's like
And
every movie has some type of like new technique that,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And the last thing I'll say, just to go back to the Lord of the Rings thing with how particularly trailblazing that is, and because it's
yeah.
fresh in my mind because I rewatch a
Because
lot of
you
the
hung out with
movies and the
Orlando
Hobbit movies
recently.
because I met Orlando Bloom as that
Did
picture
you guys forget?
shows. So, well, yeah, just so you know, for those of you listening, there's a picture of me with Orlando Bloom behind me right now.
Right
Anyways,
behind her.
and some other friends too. It wasn't just me,
Whatever.
unfortunately. I am touching him though, but that's okay. Anyways, but yeah,
Jenna,
it's
sucks to
just
suck.
it's funny. Should have leaned in more, Jenna. What were you doing? Um, but yeah, it's just funny because watching like the Hobbit trilogy after rewatching the original OG
Oh,
trilogy,
yeah.
it's like the OG trilogy looks better and they
Yes.
had worse technology
It looks
and like
so
had
much
more
better.
crude ways of doing CGI and like
Yeah.
costume design than they have in the Hobbit trilogy. And
Yeah.
it just makes a huge difference. So it just even more of a testament to like how groundbreaking that
Yeah, that
trilogy in
film was.
particular, but everything that you just listed, but like
Yeah.
especially the Lord of the Rings trilogy was just insane with special effects
Yeah,
and
and it's like this
CGI. So
scale in which they used it. But again, like looks better because they used like the mixture of practical and
yeah,
special or like and CGI
yeah,
versus yeah, like the Hobbit ones. They were just like, let's
just
just
awesome. Fuck
CGI
it. We got
fucking
computers now,
everything.
baby. Yeah, we got iPhones
Exactly.
now. We can do
Yeah.
all this. Yeah.
Yeah. Hate to see
Hmm.
it happen.
Anyways, great background though.
Anyways,
I love that. Good
thank
primer.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
coming to Grace's TED Talk, everybody.
About my
Mhm.
favorite movies with CGI in them.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, anyways, once they got the funding together, Animalia came to fruition. And so now I will tell you what this show is actually about, because as we alluded
Mhm.
to, it ain't the alphabet,
It's
much to
confusing.
many
Yeah.
people's dismay.
Apparently, people online are pissed that his show does not have to do with the
Livid.
alphabet
We're
or has
dipping
very
into
little to
controversy
do.
this episode, this
We are.
arc.
And I, for one, welcome it. I live for it. I
I
welcome
live
your
for the
hatred.
drama.
Yeah.
Animalia drama. So here's the general overarching plot, and like we'll in especially if this first episode we'll get into how the fuck this happened. And Alexis really called me out when I read her the description of this show for the first line, which is two kids walk into a library, and then Alexis
Boom, I'm
glared
out.
at me. She was like, Grace, stop calling me out in the library books. I know you love
We
the
need to.
library.
Can we not talk about libraries
Let
for
it
one
go.
arc in this show? Just one
And I
arc.
said, what about an arc based on walking into a library?
How about that? We won't talk about the library in every episode because the library is the impetus of
It's
every
the episode. Yeah,
episode.
it's the
Yeah.
backbone to
Yeah.
every episode. So yes,
Thanks.
basically these two kids go into a library. They stumble through a portal that transports them. Like for our YouTube, Alexis is upset.
I'm confused, not even upset. Like, that doesn't explain where does the portal come from? You'll get to it, I know, but I'm only more okay,
We'll
never mind. Keep
we'll talk
going.
about a portal, I guess, but lower that expectation
I
here.
guess. I mean, it might come up,
Oh, you wanted
but
reasoning? P is for portal. What else do you want? So, yes, it portal transports them from our world, our Earth, to the world of Animalia, where there are
Mhm.
no humans, but instead it's all anthropomorphized
Yay.
animals. And there are looming threats in Animalia that these two kids and their eventual animal pals must join forces to save this new world. And
Mhm.
it's worth saying that this arc will be more of like a Wild Thornberry's tailspin, like adventure
Mhm.
style show. So
Survival.
yeah,
Yeah.
survival, definitely mystery into us being like, what?
What's
For
happening?
sure. That's the
The
mystery of this
mystery is
show.
in the real world for this
Yeah.
arc,
Is us watching it
not
is the
in the
mystery.
show.
But they
Yeah.
seem confident. and everything else that's
And totally
happening.
okay with everything happening. No questions.
No
Few
questions.
questions. They question some things in my episode, but they don't think about it long enough for
Yeah,
like
to make it a
any
mystery.
repercussions. Yeah,
Exactly. So
exactly.
yes, it's an adventure, action, survival
Yeah.
situation. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go through some of our main characters here. First, we have Alex, and he is a young blonde boy. I
Mhm.
would say these kids are like 14, I would guesstimate, but like I don't know how to gauge children's age. So like 14-ish,
Especially when they're CGI.
preteen, especially when they're
It's really hard to
CGI.
tell. Yeah.
Who knows? Who's to say? So yes, Alex is a young blonde boy with a generally Australian accent, which is also important to point out that like there's so many accents in this show and they are
All
nebulous.
over the place.
They
Yeah.
are inconsistent. They are there. They are a mystery. With our first mystery
That's
after
our
the
first
portal, our
mystery.
second
Where
mystery,
the hell are
portal,
these kids from?
mystery, and animals.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
true. You're right.
there.
The animals have crazy accents
They have
too.
crazy accents.
Oh
It's a
man.
melting pot
Okay.
animalia.
Yeah, it is.
So
It
yeah, some
is.
can be ID'd, some can't. But anyways, Alex, he's overarchingly, he's really calm, he's cool, he's collected. He does kind of have his head in the clouds a little bit with like he's an artist. He's always has his sketchbook and he's trying to draw animals in nature.
Hmm.
But he's really smart. He quickly puts things together and again is like the calm, cool, collected, let's get this business done when he's not like daydreaming and drawing. So then we have Zoe, who is voiced by Katie Lee, aka Alex from Totally Spies. And I didn't
Yes,
realize this.
that's
Maybe
right.
we talked about this. Maybe Wikipedia lied to me, but also Honker from Darkwing Duck.
She really?
That's what Wikipedia said.
Wow, which I trust, you
I
know.
trust. But it
Ah,
just,
man, I'm mad that we didn't clock
I
that at the
know. I guess we
time.
just never looked up
Man, we
Honker's
gotta get it
voice. But
together. I guess not for us.
yeah,
We spent too much time
exactly.
pitying him. We didn't want we didn't want to grow more connected.
Exactly. We're gonna grow attached when he eventually dies in
Yeah.
that show or some shit.
Yeah.
So yes.
Uh, yeah, nice.
Alex or Zoe is
Yeah.
also 14-ish, probably. She's a young girl. She's got brown skin and black hair. And she's got like kind of an ambiguous, like,
The
is
most
she supposed
confusing
to be
accent of them all.
Hispan? It's an American actress doing an Australian accent of a person doing an Australian doing a Spanish accent, is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
like
best way to
three
describe
layers of
it.
accents. Like she came in being like, "Oh, I'll be Australian. This is an Australian show." And they said, "No, this girl is nebulously Latina." And so Katie Lee said, "Okay, but I already worked on my
Okay.
Australian accent." And they said, "Great, put a Spanish accent on top of it."
Exactly. Add some, what are they called? Like tildes or whatever. Roll
Yeah, roll
your
your R's a
N's.
little bit
Yeah, you're yeah.
occasionally. I don't
Yeah.
blame Katie Lee for this. I blame the fact that this is based on an alphabet book. There was
You know,
no
she's like,
Z for Zoe.
which alphabet do I need to impersonate? Oh,
Yeah.
Katie, there's no alphabet in the show.
Oh, oh, Miss
Even more
Lee. No, no.
confusion. Even more confusion.
So yeah, Zoe very
Yeah.
nebulous about this, but Zoe's great. She's really clever. She speaks her mind. She doesn't take shit from
Hmm.
anyone. She calls Alex out on his shit, etc., etc. And then some key animals in the show who like seem to be a little closer eventually to the kids. And then there's a lot of more animals that we'll just get to in the actual episodes themselves. But
Hmm.
first, and I can't help but always laugh when I say this animal's name because I'm like, what the fuck is this name? Which is maybe, I don't know, probably bad of me to say, but an enormous green gorilla. Green, he kind of looks like he's covered in moss, and his name is Gaboo.
I
And
mean, okay.
and Kaboo is
Hearing them say his name is something else too, I kind of laugh every time they
I know that's why
say
I
it.
giggle when I say it too.
Yeah.
Because like none of the other names are like silly. Like I mean like the other silly, but
No.
like
And I mean they're doing a thing where this is where the alphabet comes in. Each
is it?
animal in the show, their first kind of their first name starts with the letter of the animal they are. But
Yeah.
like as you'll get to in a second, the other names are super normal. Why do they just say call him Greg? You know, there's so many other G names like Boo Boo. What is Boo Boo?
Greg is so much funnier because Kabubu is like, yeah, this huge green gorilla who like just has like 17-year-old boy energy. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of dumb,
His
but
name's
is really
Greg.
sincere. Greg.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg. We're just gonna rename him Greg.
Yeah.
They couldn't even do Graham, like the guy, the illustrator
Graham.
of the book.
Yeah, right? Like,
They
okay,
did
Gabubu it is.
Kabubu, which maybe also feels offensive. I don't know. It's
I know
confusing.
that's the other thing. I had to look into who voice acted him because I was like, can we like make sure this isn't like overtly a problem? And it's not. Thankfully,
Okay,
it's not, but it's still
thank
weird.
God. But it's
Yeah.
still, again, when everyone else has such like just average Greg type names,
Yeah. No, in a world of Gregs,
be
be
a
a
Kabubu,
Gabubu.
be a dumb boy,
Yeah,
be a dumb 17. But he's so happy. So, you know what?
he
Maybe you're
is.
right
He's
in
just
a
down to
world of
vibe.
Gregs.
Be a
So
Gabubu.
then we have Kabubu's best friend, basically like their roommates, Iggy, who is an
Hmm.
iguana. So yes, here I guess
Hmm.
this is the alphabet part of it. I guess I just didn't
That's
want
the
to give it to
extent that
them.
they took it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they never like blatantly talk about it, type of thing.
Right.
But yes, Iggy is an iguana who's green, but apparently in some episode you find out he's part chameleon, so he's got like some purples and
Oh.
yellows in his scales on his grandfather's side.
Oh, okay.
And
I was
yes,
wondering.
how? How in
Okay.
hoops? That was not
Okay.
in the alphabet book, let me tell you.
They skipped that chapter. Protests.
Yeah, truly. So basically, Iggy has a real thick Spanish accent, and he is overly excited about everything. He jumps to conclusions. He's maybe a little cowardly, but he talks a big
Mm,
game, like up front,
mm,
and he's kind of feisty, I would say.
yeah.
So then we have Livingston T. Lyon, who,
Mm,
as you can guess by the fancy name Livingston, he is a male lion who is the king slash like mayor or whatever of Animalia. He
hmm.
is very gentle. He's kind of like a scientist. He's definitely the smartest one in this whole damn place,
Yes.
and is very wise as a good lion should be. Then we have Reenie, who is a black rhinoceros with a Scottish accent?
I mean,
It
yeah.
would seem Scottish
It
accent.
was in Scottish. It was
I
in Scottish, but rhinos
can't tell.
are very well known to not be from Scotland. But you know,
Famously, black
yeah,
rhinoceroses are not in
yeah.
Scotland. Yes. Neither are like the
So
three white rhinoceroses who are left. They ain't left in Scotland.
yeah.
But Renee is Livingston's number two. She helps run Animalia and helps with
Hmm.
all of his various projects, and she is a big, lovable softie. We have a bunch of other characters who are recurring, including our baddies, but again, we'll just describe them as we meet them along the way.
Hmm.
Um, and my final note about Animalia, the world, before I get into the show itself or this episode, is that like this like the world of Animalia is not just like it's like think like Zootopia-ish in the sense of like not like a huge city, but like they have infrastructure. It's mixed in with the
Yeah.
jungle. They all speak English. It seems to be a
Hmm.
monarchy with the lion over
Livingston
here.
lion. Yeah, but
Although
people are okay with it
some of them
mostly,
want it to seem that they want it to be an
Yeah.
oligarchy. I don't know. I think we get into it eventually throughout these
Yeah.
episodes. But here's the one thing that's inconsistent. Yeah, they generally are like down for the monarchy, down for, again, except for one or two, down for this
Hmm.
like jungle slash infrastructure, down for all the same language, despite our colorful accents. The one thing that they're not on the same page for, though, clothing. Some of them, they got a Winnie the Pooh style t-shirt only, no pants. Others, head to toe fits. Others,
That's such a good point.
naked as the day they were born.
Yeah, and I feel like they have to know there's a difference that like they wouldn't put
Yeah,
some of them in clothes if like clothes didn't mean anything.
yeah,
So
exactly.
they just got naked animals running around in
Yeah,
front of these
sub
kids.
Nikes, all
Yeah.
yeah, it is all over the place. They did not come to a group decision on what it should be at all. I think classically, I'm pretty sure every female animal is totally clothed,
Okay.
or they
Maybe
just have a
that's
lot
the
of fur.
line.
Actually, that's not true. There's one who I
Okay.
think just has I'll wait for. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's a wild card. Every time I see a new character, I'm like, what is this fashion choice about to be? So I will let you know of all the fashion choices as we go through. There's one
Please.
in
Thank
particular
you.
that really rocked me. So I'll let you know when we get to it.
Just one? Okay.
All the other ones were choices, and this one was a
This one.
choice. See
Choice.
the difference?
Okay.
It's important.
Oh God.
So let's begin, everyone.
Please. I'm
So,
anxious to understand what's happening here.
same.
I mean, to the
So,
extent that they explain it.
yes. So we start off in our earthly realm with
Hmm.
Alex. He's in his room. He's sketching a dragon, presumably from the latest book he read. And he kind of realizes that he has got to go to the library to return this book. So he hops on his skateboard and cruises to the library. It's giving like New York City vibes by the look
Mm.
of like this beautiful, huge marble library, the super busy downtown streets. I'm sure there's beautiful libraries in like Sydney, Australia and stuff too, but definitely
Yeah.
New York City vibes.
Hmm.
And as he's skating downtown, heading to the library, his head is in the clouds. He could even be sketching while he's skating.
Mm.
And so he's not really paying attention. And we see coming from the other direction a young girl, Zoe, who's on her bicycle. And Zoe is just gabbing away with her bestie on her flip phone, giving
Mm.
no fucks about the rules of the sidewalk or the road. She gives bikers a bad name. People are literally diving out of her way as
Oh
she's going
God,
down the
Zoe.
sidewalk. And she's just like, yeah, I don't know what my mom said we're having for dinner tonight. It better be good this time, though. Like she is just
Dang.
chit chat. She's bossy as hell.
In
She is
that
just
ambiguous accent.
that ambiguous accent that I can't quite place. And she's just talking about her plans for the day. Like she is just checking in on her bestie, all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But Alex doesn't notice the rules of the road that Zoe is also not noticing.
Hmm.
And he skates right into her path, cutting her off and making Zoe swerve and fly off her bike right at the base of the library steps. And
Mm.
Alex, who again is kind of a little space cadet, doesn't even notice that this other child has like fully crashed their bicycle because
Good
of
Lord.
him.
These
Yeah.
kids.
Which, this was a thing that I did not expect was that they don't know each other. They do not start out as friends right now
Yeah.
because
Okay.
Zoe dusts herself off and clocks this child who just did this, and she storms right after him like
Oh,
yelling that like
confrontation?
he better get his butt back here and apologize. And she's like fully
Mm.
following him into the library. He is like at the front desk returning his book, acting like she does not know her, as she is like, I demand you get back here to pay restitution for the damage you have caused. Literally says
Dang, girl.
restitution. Yeah. And I was
Wow.
like, this little 14-year-old, she's been to this library.
She's
She's read
going
some shit.
places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She like read the law books in the library, not
Exactly.
even
She went to
just
the law
like the
library
kids'
section.
books. Yeah.
Yeah, she's all start talking about emotional damage, no less physical and
Yeah.
property damage.
Yeah.
So yes, this little 14-year-old girl knows her shit, and immediately I was like, she's my favorite character. Done. Picked, clocked.
That was easy. Yeah.
Yep. And yes, Alex is returning the book and blatantly acting like he does not know her, but the librarian's like, I think she's trying to talk to you here. And Zoe, she gets her cell phone back out to call her best friend, basically being like, if anything happens to me, got a witness on here. But she's screaming this because there's not good service in the library. So everyone
Mm.
is like glaring at her. And she switches to basically talking about like the audacity of men to knock me off my
Oh,
bike like this. And I was like,
okay, girl.
hell
Damn.
yes. She's
Go off,
Yeah,
Zoe. No
exactly. Go
notes.
off, Zoe. And so Alex, wanting to avoid confrontation and get the fuck out
Yes.
for this hit and run, he just first crime, hit and run, I would
Here
say,
we go.
of the show.
First crime, ladies and gents.
Hit and run. He decides to go and try and get another book in the library, his next one on his list, which is in the like adventure section of the library. So he scurries off that way, hoping to lose this chick somewhere in the stacks. But
You can't
he
shake
has
me down for money.
he's
Like
never dealt
I'm
with an anchor
broke.
before. Let
Yeah.
me tell you, Zoe's motivation, at least throughout my first episode, money. That bike was expensive, and she's gonna get it back. Let me tell you.
Her mom cannot see this bike all messed up when she comes
No, no, no,
home.
no. She is gonna be
Mm-mm-mm.
pissed.
Yeah.
So, yes, Zoe follows Alex every step of the way until, again, trying to run from her, he kind of comes to this corner of the library that he realizes he's never been to before, which surprises
Ooh.
him because he knows this library front, back, middle, center, up, down.
Mm.
He's been to every single shelf in this library, but he's never seen the corner of this library with some of its like disheveled books before.
Okay.
And as he's staring at it, Zoe comes up behind him. She's fully lost service on her phone, and she stops short as the bookshelf right in front of them begins to glow. And it starts glowing until the entire
Okay.
bookshelf is taken up by this glowing light. You have a question about this,
Yeah, but go ahead.
Alexis?
I don't know if you have an answer. Well, what color
I
is it glowing? Is it like
glowing white,
oh,
white glowing.
oh,
Don't go
oh.
towards the light. Everyone's
Yeah, I was
supposed to
like,
know
that's
that.
concerning. Yeah. I was like, oh no, it's probably like a blue, neon green, something fun. No, it
Bright
literally
white.
looks like the gate to
Death.
heaven.
Gate to heaven. And Alex, either stupid, curious, or trying to avoid Zoe, walks right into it, just turning into like a shadow, aka walking to the gates of heaven.
Wait,
But
okay, sorry. Can we
he,
can I ask
let
you
me
to
slow
just
down.
back up? No,
There's a corner and a bookshelf. There's a glowing
he
light
didn't.
that eats the bookshelf, and he walks into it.
Yeah. It's not like he knocked anything off the
No,
bookshelf. It's not like he opened a
nope,
book and it just
nope.
appeared. Okay,
And
I
it
just wanted to make
grew.
sure I didn't miss anything
You
because
know as much as I do.
I'm like waiting for the like golden egg, the thing that's like, oh, okay, now this show makes so much sense to me. It ain't coming.
Hilarious. There's like
Hilarious of
maybe a
me.
line I have that could help
Yeah.
you, and it's a real big cop out of any
Okay.
explanation. But
Great.
it's kind
Okay.
of
Yeah.
funny, actually. You know
Yeah,
what?
just
Big pin in it. Not till the end
pen.
here.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything because I was
No.
reacting to them possibly going to heaven right now. And I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Did they do something that I missed? Like
Wait, did they both
open the gate to
crash
heaven?
and fall into the
Yeah.
streets of New York and both die?
Yeah.
Are these,
They
here's our
actually fell down a
question for the
manhole
entire
and
show. Are these kids dead?
which is like the super cop out for whenever people can't
Yeah,
like
they
think
were
of
dead the
it's like, oh, it
whole
was all a dream. And or yeah, they
time.
were dead the whole time. This is actually the afterlife, which is bad for
Yeah, which
these
is
two
not great.
preteens. Yes.
So,
Anyways.
yes. Yeah, Alex, again, either stupid, interested, or avoiding Zoe, YOLOs it and walks right in. And Zoe looks at it and is like, oh, that's freaky. And then she's like, wait, he's not about to slip out the back door on me, though, and avoid paying me
Legal
back. And so
liability.
that's why she follows him. Yes, for liability's sake. To at
And
least
the
get his
fact that
insurance information.
and the fact that she's like, hold on, write down your
She
number and
literally
insurance.
says he can't slip out the back door on me.
This context only makes the second episode crazier now. Okay. Okay, go
Cannot
on.
wait.
That's
So,
why that's how she ended up there. Okay. Wow,
yep.
poor Zoe. Hmm.
So they walk through, yes, the gates of heaven, white glowing light, and they walk through it, I guess, through a tunnel or some shit, and they walk into
Yeah.
a library, another library.
Hmm.
And the bookcase like shuts behind them, cutting off the glowing light. And they're just
Mhm.
like, well, that was weird, but like, okay, we're just in another side of the library, I guess.
Yeah.
Until they turn away from the bookcase. When it closed, they went and looked at it, and then they turn away, and
Mhm.
there's a rhinoceros and a lion roaring directly in their faces.
Oh yeah, no, thank you.
Not the same
Generally.
library, I would say.
No.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
great. So
Uh-oh.
naturally, Alex and Zoe scream and run for their lives
Yeah.
as fast as they can out of this section of the library, just trying to find an
Mhm.
exit, basically. And as they're running, we cut back to the lion and the rhino, who, yes, is Livingston and Reenie. And she scolds him for welcoming the guests so poorly. And he scoffs and says, I was only roaring because you stepped on my tail.
Uh, mhm.
So we leave
That's
them
good.
bickering away like an old married couple, even though they're not. And as
Hmm.
far as I know, I guess. And we cut
Yeah.
back to Alex and Zoe, who are still just screaming, like simply just screaming the entire time. And they eventually tumble out of the library into kind of this like big amphitheater of like green space with like mountains surrounding them and like a few kind of stone buildings around. And
Hmm.
Zoe says, okay, who moved the city? Someone's got some explaining to do.
I'm suing.
Yeah, she's like, let me get out my law book.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Got to be a case for this.
Yeah, was I just kidnapped? Taken to court, kind of.
Right.
So they hear some music and they decide to go head that direction, hopefully find someone to give them answers what the heck is going on. And they come
Hmm.
upon a group of animals. They've got zebras, hippos, tigers, foxes, mice, who, as soon as they see Alex and Zoe, they turn and look. Alex and Zoe turn and look. And then everybody breaks out screaming, including all the animals. A classic back and forth of screams,
Yeah.
with some of the animals booking it out there into the jungle or just like running away generally. Some of them are staying there and screaming. But Alex and Zoe, they definitely hoof it out of there. They
Yeah.
run directly into the jungle, not knowing where they're going. As we can see, these are city kids, not jungle kids, because
Jungle
they
King.
immediately fall down a cliff and just
Oh,
take a huge tumble
that did not take long.
right
Oh
down there,
God.
right down there. So we go back to this group of animals and they've all calmed themselves down. And we see the group of mice who are all getting out microphones and a camera. And we learn that the mice of Animalia are
Mm,
basically like the news crew. Like this, the
yeah.
mice are the media. M is for mice and media,
The media. Yes.
if you will. So they are about to get the scoop as to what the heck just ran up to them, started screaming, and then disappeared.
Hmm.
So we have our two main like anchor mice. So I didn't write down their names. They both start with M though, for sure.
Of course.
One
Hmm.
is an all-white female mouse who I think doesn't have any clothes on, which is the one who made me be like, oh, maybe not all the
Wait a
women
minute.
are wearing
Yeah.
clothes. But she's a classic news anchor. She's got her makeup on, her lashes done, and she is here to get the scoop. And then we've
Yes.
got the male mouse. I literally every time they're on screen, I'm like, this is Ron Burgundy
Yeah.
and what's her name in the
Veronica
show? Veronica as a
Veronica
Victoria. Yes.
Corningstone. Yeah, or
Yes, yeah,
something.
you're
Yeah.
right. And Veronica,
Yeah.
like this is them.
Yes.
This is their dynamic.
Yeah.
So the male mouse, he also isn't wearing clothes. He's got a white belly, but the way his fur is brown, it makes him look like he has a blazer and a brown toupee
Ah.
on, just based on the coloring of his fur.
Yeah.
So they start to interview the animals around them. We'll get back to them in a little bit of like their dynamic, but and why I think that mainly of the Anchorman dynamic here.
Yeah.
But this nebulously British, young-ish, maybe in his like 20s in human years, tiger, who is named
Mm.
Tyrannicus, starts getting interviewed. He has an air of confidence about him. He's got kind of like a sweater vest situation on, no pants. You gotta let that tail fly free, obviously.
Of course.
He's got a tie. He's obviously, he likes business end things. And
Hmm.
he takes
Yes.
center stage in this interview, saying that whatever just jumped all of them, essentially, definitely is not from around these parts.
Mm.
They looked dangerous, even perhaps like monsters.
Mm.
And we launch into what at first I said, is this a conspiracy theory by this tiger? But we
Yeah.
get a little bit of world building context here that makes me be like, okay, things do seem a little off because at first, well, what he says is he basically monologues about how these are troubled times. Maybe this might sound familiar. The
Oh.
core of civilization is crumbling all around them. We should
Oh,
all be
okay.
afraid. But
Yeah.
then we learn and we see in this world here that recently, um, The sun has gone away and it has been blocked for weeks by a swirling gray and black vortex of clouds. So I was like,
So
maybe
we
he
learn
should be
that
concerned.
doomsday has arrived in
Yeah.
Animalia.
Yeah. So I like kind of forgave him a little bit for that tirade
Okay.
there when I was
That
like,
also
seems
it
problematic. Yeah.
reminds me of the text I sent you where I was like confused, out of context, watching the second episode.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it seems like they're alluding to some sort of like world destruction or end of
Hopeless.
world mass events. It would be great to have the context, but I
Yeah, you
don't
were like,
know
is this explained? And I said, I don't know.
exactly.
So I simply don't know, but yes, it is kind of
Okay, good. Cool.
more or less. Well, we
Somewhat.
we
And
start,
more, yeah.
yeah. Again, like we said, the mystery of this show is us unraveling this show.
What's happening in this show?
Yes, exactly. But yes, so we've got a swirling vortex of clouds that have blocked off the sun here in
Great.
Animalia and has
Hmm.
brought, yes, the difficult times. And Tyrannicus here thinks that these monsters are part of whatever is happening. So what else would explain these weird, fleshy, unhairy creatures that just appeared?
Hmm.
And so classic mob mentality starts happening. Some of the animals chase after them into the jungle, saying that they must catch these invaders.
Oh no.
While Tyrannicus, he doesn't go with them. He's still giving his interview, baby. He's got to soak up
Yeah.
those 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he turns and says straight to camera, looking straight down camera, saying that no one is safe until the monsters are stopped. Go
Mm.
home, lock your doors. Basically, a hide your kids, hide your wife
I,
situation.
they gonna find you. It's
And
also mass
so,
propaganda.
exactly.
Yeah.
As the other animals indeed scurry off to go home, we see left behind one of my favorite characters so far in this show. I've only seen one episode and I also love her. We see a red fox wearing like a light pink sweater. We learn her name is
Mhm.
Fuchsia. And she is
Um,
just shaking her head at Tyrannicus. Tyrannicus looks at her and says, like, Fuchsia, take note. My next venture, the home security business. And she looks at him and says, profiting off the fear of others? Have you no shame, sir?
was she's
She's
like German
French.
too. Oh,
Or like
French.
French
Okay.
German.
Of course.
Again, a
We're gonna say
nebulous
French. We're gonna say
accent.
French because
French
French
for
fuchsia
fuchsia the
fox.
fox. Yes, but
Exactly.
nebulously French. I actually, it wasn't until I was Googling the characters that I learned she was French, but I knew she was not British like
She was
Tyrannicus was.
something. Yeah.
Yes. But I was excited to have her be French
Nice.
because
Good,
she has a
good.
very laissez-faire attitude here about
Ah, yes.
everything. But yes,
Love it.
we learn that yes, Tyrannicus has an idea here, and it is get into the home security business.
Hmm.
So, meanwhile, as low-key hysteria is breaking out across Animalia,
Yeah.
Livingston and Rini are inside kind of like the library, kind of city hall type thing. And we hear them talking about, like, they hear this hysteria, and we hear them talking about how they need to fix this problem they have and fix it fast.
Hmm.
And as they're talking, we see Livingston standing beneath, he's got, kind of like the inventor steampunky glasses on, he's got some tools, and
Hmm.
he is standing beneath this enormous, like, filling this, like, dome-sized room. He's standing beneath this giant crystal that is swirling blue with similar swirls that we saw in the clouds that have been blocking out the sun above Animalia.
Hmm.
And they say that this
Okay.
giant crystal, again, like size of a building, is what's called the core. And there's something that
Hmm.
seems to be broken within it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, this is answering some of your questions.
Some of them,
Maybe.
kind
Yeah,
of, a
more
little bit.
questions I believe will be
It
answered about what
it
the
relates
frick
to
this
some
is.
of my questions. We'll put it that
Yes,
way.
I
Yeah.
figured, I figured.
Hmm.
So, meanwhile, Alex and Zoe are trying to hike in this jungle, trying to find their way to like they don't know when. Although I will
Yeah.
say Zoe smartly is like, did I get concussed when you hit me off my bike? Like, did I like get knocked out and I'm actually in the hospital right now? This is just a dream. Am I in a
This
coma?
cannot be real.
Yeah. Did we actually die and walk through those gates of heaven right there? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on
Is
here?
that what this is all about? A little
Yes.
concerned. Yeah.
So as they're hiking, they stop because they kind of start arguing a little bit. They argue all the time. We learn
Yes.
soon. And from behind Alex, we see a green gorilla slowly rise. We don't know whom this is yet in the show, but we, the viewers, know. Well, now viewers know this is Kaboo. He is rising up. But this first scene seems scary. You have no
I'm
context to
sorry,
a
this is
giant gorilla.
who? This is who? You said that name kind of that's Grace.
Who's this? Is this the gorilla? The gorilla? What's his
Greg?
name? Greg. Gregory Gabooboo. His government name is Gregory Boo Boo, but he goes by Gabooboo. Gregory
Boo
Gregory
boo.
Alistair Boutinier. Gregor Gabooboo.
My street
Confound.
name.
Yeah, Gabooboo.
When you need something done, just call
Yeah.
on Gaboo.
Call Gabooboo. He'll get it
Yeah.
done. So yes, we see him rising up, perhaps behind the mist, gorillas of the mist, behind Alex, and Zoe starts screaming. But Alex also starts screaming because behind Zoe, we see an alligator rise and start
Mhm.
chomping as if they're about to chomp off Zoe's head.
Oh God.
And as this happens, Kaboo grabs these two humans and sprints off into the trees. And I already described Kaboo. He's like a mossy looking gorilla. He ain't got no clothes on. He's just a gorilla.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, let me set the scene for this
Mhm.
alligator. You've probably saw her in your episode, so I'm sure you
Yes.
might know who I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
But
describe it because
she deserves her own space
she's the one
to
whose
be.
outfit
I knew it.
shook me to my core.
I knew it. She was the first one that I thought of when you brought something up about like the outfits
Just
are a choice. I was like, I can think of one character. I didn't even think
and
about the
just
mouse
and
newscasters. My brain went straight to her.
everything about her. This is
Yes.
so, and even just like the introduction of her as a character as they speed
Hmm.
away. First of all, she's bright blue. This alligator, like think like Fun Dip, like blue icy cotton candy blue here, neon perhaps. And as she puts her hands on her scaly hips, we hear basically like Rise of the Valkyries or some shit playing as her crew. That's
Appropriate
right.
for her.
She's got she's got a fucking crew as two straight up Mad Max style like hogs fucking blare in to speed up and be next to her. And we get at this point the full look as she is tapping her toes, being like, where the hell have you been? Because that's
Yes.
right.
Got to get the accent
Our
right.
blue alligator, Allegra. Well, let me give you pause. She ain't no Southern belle. She's got Southern sass. She is Southern
Mm.
royalty. Thank you very much.
Hmm. Hmm.
Allegra, she's got bright red lipstick on, a great contrast with that bright blue
Blue
skin.
skin. Yeah, or scales,
And
whatever. Yeah.
this
Oh
is the
God.
most this is the most confident alligator in this whole damn bayou. If you think you've seen a mini skirt, you have not seen Allegra's skirt. I don't even, not even a mini skirt, it's a mid skirt. That's how much skirt is
I
there
was
for
gonna
her
say,
red plaid piece of fabric called a skirt. And
her
her
cloth, if
white,
you will.
her cloth, her loincloth, if you will,
Yeah.
and her white crop top tied right in the middle, Britney Spears style,
Yes.
baby. Like
I'm like giving Oops, I Did It Again vibes
she,
to the
oops,
umpteenth level.
she's giving
Oops,
oops, I did it
Allegra
again
did
vibe.
it before. Oops, I did it
Oops,
before.
Allegra did
Brittany
it
did it the first
first.
time. Yeah.
Even this came out after Britney, but still.
Yeah. But
Oops, I did it
Allegra
first,
walked so
baby.
Brittany could crawl through the video
Exactly.
of Oops, I Did It Again.
Allegra is giving the Britney Spears like Baby One More Time video, but in the way that you dress up as that video in college. Like
Yes.
that is the equivalent of it. Having been someone in college who did dress up like this, yes.
You can
Wearing
attest.
my Ursuline kilt, yes.
Yes.
Correct. So,
Yeah.
yes, Allegra is my everything. And this outfit, she is working it, honey. She's got her Mad
She's
Max
something.
hogs, who are like somewhat Mad Max in their like motorcycles that have a bunch of instruments and weird shit and like contract like
Yeah.
machinery on them, but they also are wearing like the steampunky like goggles, like
Okay.
bike
Yeah.
goggles, but also like leotards. Like when you think of old school, you're like the strong men, like
Okay. Yeah.
that's what they're
Like the,
wearing.
yeah. Okay.
And the
Huh.
energy is that Allegra cannot believe she is stuck with these hog idiots all damn day long.
Oh, never. Okay. Yeah. I was
Yep.
gonna say she could just eat them or attack them, but I forgot a key part of Animalia that I don't know if you'll get to it eventually, but
Oh, they
yeah.
don't attack. They're peaceful.
They're totally peaceful there. Yeah, it's like a
Yes.
core of the
Core tenant.
not core. Yeah,
The
it's a core tenet
core.
of
Yes.
yes, Animalia.
Animalia.
Anyways, I was like,
Yes.
just eat them. And
So
I was thinking, surely that's why they follow her around. They just do whatever she wants because they know that
they
she'll
don't,
kill
I
them and
mean,
eat them if they don't. But
that could be
which
why they do follow her around and do
it
whatever she
could
wants.
be, yeah, and yet they just don't know that it's like illegal to be violent
Yeah.
there,
But
basically. Yeah, which I mean,
she's willing to break all the rules of fashion, probably. She's willing to
oh
break a
yeah,
law
tell
or
me.
two for a snack.
She's gonna break other laws. Yeah, she has an interesting role in my episode.
I
So yeah,
cannot wait.
It's-
But yes,
yeah.
she also decides that it's time to go monster hunting. And she
Mm,
jumps on the back of one of their Mad Max dirt bikes to go and track them down.
mm.
Meanwhile, the gorilla, Gabubu, gives Alex and Zoe some bananas because he loves bananas. He's a gorilla.
Yeah, yeah,
And we learn that Gabubu, yes, is this very kind gorilla. He thinks these humans are hilarious. He's like, you guys are so
yeah,
silly. I can't believe you can even talk. Like, what kind of monsters are you? Oh my God, do you like these
yeah.
bananas? I love bananas. Like, he is just golden retriever energy all up in this place.
Oh,
But in this treehouse, we also meet Iggy, who is like playing an instrument. Iggy's another fave character of mine.
yes.
As he turns, we hear the like strumming of a Spanish
Guitar.
guitar, and it like
It fits him so well.
zooms in on him, zooming in on Zoe,
Oh,
and
and
he
also, how old
here's
is
the
she?
thing, Gabubu is like I think like equivalent of being like a high schooler. I'm giving
True.
it to myself that Iggy is also young.
The same.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm giving that Alex and Zoe are 14, they're freshmen
yeah,
kind of thing. Still don't
yeah.
love seven. Gabubu, that's way too old, but
Yeah,
maybe he's
Iggy's
15.
definitely got more of of an immature vibe, if you
Yes, they're
will. I
living in a
mean,
treehouse
yeah,
in the middle of the jungle together. Like
exactly. Yeah.
they're not adults here for sure. But yes, he immediately like zooms in on her and is like, "Hola, señorita." He doesn't actually say that, but that's the energy.
But yeah, the energy, the vibe.
Yes, and immediately runs up to her and is immediately in love with her, and she's like, "Oh, ew." She's
Aw,
disgusted by this
not
lizard
feeling it. Mm,
coming
mm,
up to
mm, mm.
him, and he is unbothered by this clear rejection. He is just
Yeah.
wanting to dance with her. He is in love.
Mm.
And eventually Gabubu comes over and is like, all right, chill out here,
Break
bro.
this up. Yeah.
Yeah, let's calm it down. And so Gabubu asks them, what exactly are you guys? Like, they don't know what humans are
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this world. And Alex and Zoe are like, you don't know us? You don't know
What? Humans?
humans?
The
Literally,
top of the food chain? The apex predator,
they
technically, in
literally
a way.
say
Yeah.
we're the most advanced species. Have you not heard of us? And this
Hmm.
becomes an ongoing joke that every time they say this, like Iggy and Gabooboo laugh at each other and immediately start laughing.
Oh,
And
damn.
throughout
Mm.
this whole
Yeah.
episode, they repeatedly say this, and everybody there laughs at it. Like,
Hilarious.
okay,
How cute.
cute.
Adorable.
Sure, you little flesh
Climb that tree.
bags.
Show me. Yeah.
Yeah, prove it. You can't. So after they get through that, they settle in a little bit. Alex is sitting there sketching the two of them. Zoe is like checking out some of their technology, which is like pretty advanced, like
Hmm.
high def technology. So again, this makes sense that they would laugh at the humans
Yeah.
about their being advanced.
Yeah.
But eventually, Alex and Zoe leave the treehouse. And as they do, they stop when this like swarm of butterflies, like glowing blue butterflies, surround them and like
Mm.
amass in front of them in this glowing wall. And
Mm.
Iggy and Gabooboo run down when they see this happen, but not to like save Alex or Zoe or anything like that. They're there to tune in because this is how the news is cast in Animalia.
Oh.
So
Oh.
basically, because we also now see
Huh.
the news studio where
Yeah.
basically somehow the cameras like project onto the butterflies and the butterflies like are able to like live stream basically out into the world whatever's happening in the studio and like
Hmm.
I don't know, advanced technology. More advanced
Yeah, you
than
know,
us
they
basically.
put a bunch of like lights in the butterflies so that they can
It can glow,
light up the way that the image is
that
on the
our
camera
phones
from the
glow. Yes,
news.
perfect.
Yes, yeah, there. We're
So
helping it out.
yeah, just don't ask questions.
We're,
We have cell phones,
we're
whatever. We
making
have
it make
magic too.
sense. Yeah, we
So
can relate. Yeah.
relatable. So, yes, we learn the newscasters, our two mice, are giving
Hmm.
a little more world context, saying that
Okay.
1 month ago, when the core cracked, these
Mm.
clouds came. So, the core that Livingston and Rini were working on cracked, which seems to be the problem they wanted to fix.
Yes.
Following the crack in the core, the scary clouds came, and now we have monsters. And the woman is like, we have new creatures that have arrived. Like, if you see them, call the authorities. Like, they're not to be engaged. And then the guy stands up and knocks over the table and says, "There's monsters here! Everyone panic and run for your lives!" And he
Checks
runs out
out.
of the studio.
Yeah.
And then the woman, aka Veronica Corningstone, just looks at the camera and
Yeah.
is like, I wish I had a different co-anchor.
Oh.
So it's great. Love the
Yeah,
dynamic.
that
Love
checks
this.
out. That checks out. Yeah.
But then we cut to a commercial and we see Tyrannicus, the young tiger from
Mm.
earlier. Basically, Alexis, there's no better way for me to say this, and I'm sorry to invoke this name, but like a British version of fear mongering a la Alex Jones. He's sitting there, he's like at his desk, and he's like, the core is cracked. The clouds are killing us. The monster's invading? Scared? You should be. Who isn't? But with my home protection system, you'll be
Oh
safe and
God.
able to scare off unwanted visitors. Call now while supplies still last. And it's showing all of the like, yeah, different home protection system. I don't even remember what they
Yeah.
are, like gadgets and things.
Okay. I was
Um,
wondering, like, what is it? Like little birds sitting outside as
Literally, one
like
of it's like a bird. You got
cameras
like
or
stakes to like
yeah.
board up your door. Maybe some
Okay.
survival mechanism things.
Yeah.
When he says call now, we cut to hilariously Fuchsia just sitting by a phone, like bored as hell, like filing her nails. She looks at the camera for a second, gives like a lazy wave, and then goes back to her nails. She not give a shit.
She does not care. Yeah.
I will say
Love it.
hilariously, I don't know why this got me so good though, too, at the very end when he's doing, like the like terms and conditions, like really fast talk at the end.
Hmm.
The very last thing he says, "Oh, se habla español," which for some reason just like is very funny because they all are speaking English everywhere else. That just brought joy. That
He's like, just in
this
case. He's like, hey, I serve a lot
home
of people.
security
Okay.
is
Iggy,
para
I'm
todas las
looking at
personas.
you.
It's for
Yeah.
yeah, Iggy. This is for you, honey.
Zoe,
Maybe
maybe. Oh, wait, no,
is
she's the monster. But like in
unclear. Oh
theory,
wait,
like
yeah,
maybe
but I'll sell
also
to
you
anyone.
too. Yeah. Monsters need home protection too.
Exactly from
So that
us,
the angry pitchfork
the
carrying
mob.
townsfolk like us don't get to them.
Just
Okay,
remember,
pen.
remember that pin. Maybe put a pitchfork in that. Okay, pitchfork.
Stake it right in there. Yeah.
So everyone in Animalia is watching this news broadcast, including
Hmm.
Livingston and Rini. They're
Mm.
watching as they work on the core, and they're as like Livingston is like kind of tinkering away with it, but Reenie, she is fucking sitting there coding away. Like she is hacking into the mainframe type of energy. And she
Mm.
gasps at something on her computer. And Livingston runs over and also looks shocked at what they see. But we don't see what they see yet. We cut back to Alex, Zoe, Gabubu, and Iggy, who their news broadcast gets cut short when they look up, and on one side of the valley that they're currently standing in, we hear Rise of the Valkyries or some shit again.
Oh
And we
no.
see Allegra and her hogs rolling up, baby.
Oh no.
And then on the other side of the valley, take that pitchfork out. We see an angry mob. We see an
Join that
angry.
mob.
I say, take it out, flip it around, join that mob.
Join the mob.
And we see.
Grab a torch while I'm at it.
Oh,
So.
yeah, they're there. So, yes, we see the angry mob of animals from before who vowed to capture these monsters. And they all start to convene down on the four of them. So, of course,
Mm,
they all run. Luckily, Gabubu is able to like grab all of them and, like, Tarzan style, grab some vines, swing out of the valley. And
hmm
when they get to a spot to like pause and like catch a breath very briefly, Alex spots something glowing among the flowers. And he
mm.
grabs it and is like, let me just first and foremost, grab this glowing, mysterious
Mystery
thing
object.
that
Yeah.
Gabubu and Iggy immediately say they do not know what this is.
Mhm.
And he grabs it and cracks it open like it's a geode. He's like, what is this thing? Yep, see what happens. And when he opens it, there's an egg inside of it, a
Hmm.
little spotted egg. But there's not time to figure this out, so he kind of like puts it back together. Yeah, like opened it up geode style, clamps it back together
Mm,
because the angry mob and Allegra and her gang have arrived.
mm.
And so they keep booking it and they start heading down towards like the amphitheater town hall situation. The news crew's there. They're putting that male mouse right in front of it, and he is
Already.
full body shaking. And
Poor guy.
he sees the mob coming, and he just goes and just drops the mic and he runs again. They're not getting this newscast. Like the camera falls. He's out.
He's out. The camera's just gonna see like a bunch of like little animal
They
feet
got feet running
pattering.
by.
Yeah.
Basically, yes.
Kind of like out like a little bit of the light from the flamethrower or from the
Yeah.
torches or whatever, but mostly just yeah, angry animal
Just
feet running
stomping.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, everyone kind of convenes in front of like the town hall library situation.
Mhm.
And the situation we've got the mob, our four, kind of our protagonists,
Mhm.
Allegra and her gang, and on the other, like all kind of in a line, and behind them is town hall.
Okay.
And so Allegra is like basically telling like the mob to step off. Like these were hers to capture. I saw them first. So they are
Mm.
mine to get the reward from. And everyone's like, there's no reward. She's like, what?
Oh wait, that's right. Yeah. Damn, I was with her for a second. Like, yeah, let her get hers. Wait.
No, literally the hogs were like, no, we said there could be a reward. And she's like, well, I could. And then she threatens them in some variety, but I don't remember what the threat
Okay.
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the mob is kind of like, okay, what do we do now? They're still angry though. They're ready to fight. So someone needs to step
hmm
up and like control it. So Tyrannicus, our tiger, does step off and points out though, instead of controlling it, he kind of is fueling those flames a little bit more, saying
Of
that
course,
yes,
got to sell that home
these
security.
gotta sell it. These are indeed the monsters that we should all be scared of. And
Okay. God.
Fuchsia next to him, again, love her. I just love all the women in this show, I guess.
Yeah, they're great.
No
Yeah.
surprise, but the writing of them is so funny. She like has her arms crossed and is like, they don't look so terrifying to me.
Truth.
And Tyrannicus is like, shh, shh, be quiet. Just shuts her up
Bad
and
for
she just
marketing. Bad for marketing.
rolls her eyes at them.
Yeah. It's like, you're making me do more work, though, okay?
Yeah,
I'm the
come
one who has to
on.
answer these
I
calls.
have to
All
answer all of
right.
these dumb telephone calls.
Mhm.
And so as they all start to approach Alex and Zoe, Iggy and Gabooboo step up between them all. And at this point, Allegra and her hogs have kind of joined the mob. There's no reward, so let's join the crowd here.
Yeah.
And Iggy and Gabooboo start to defend them in their own way. They
Okay.
defend
Okay.
them in a way that they think is helping. That basically they're like, you guys are just being like scared because these like creatures behind us look different and sound different. And just because they're new doesn't mean they don't belong. Just because they're that doesn't mean they're monsters because they don't belong. Just because they're clumsy doesn't mean they don't belong. Just
Damn.
because they're slow and maybe dumb doesn't mean they don't belong.
All
And
right. All
every
right.
and
We
every
accept everyone
time
here. Smart people, stupid people, athletic people, clumsy
Club
people. They
idiots,
belong.
bag
Ugly
smelling
people,
people,
ugly little
ugly.
monsters.
Yeah, Iggy's like, except for Zoe. But yes,
Yes.
every time Gabooboo says something like this, the mob is like, no, they're still monsters. They're different, so they're monsters. Are they xenophobic
Hmm.
here? Seems like it.
Yes, it would appear so.
And Alex and Zoe are like, this isn't helping. So they kind of stand up for themselves and they say, we're humans, not
Hmm.
monsters, the most advanced creatures on this planet.
Hmm.
The mob
Keep telling
literally
yourselves that.
tumbles over upon themselves with laughter. But
Oh,
smartly, they use this moment to book it into the town hall library situation and
yeah,
slam the door shut. Gabooboo is able to slam like these great grand like front doors,
yeah.
and he's able to like kind of push against the doors and kind of like lock them down as the mob like gets themselves together and runs after them and is now trying to break into the library. And as they all kind of tumble in there, this is where the core is, like right here in the Grand Hall. And Livingston and Reenie are there working on the core. And Alex is basically like, hi, you seem like you're in charge. What is going on? And yes, they introduce themselves. Reenie's like, sorry about our other introduction. Little mishap happened.
Didn't go well. Hmm.
Livingston T. Lion hands them their business cards and they say, what's the T stand for? And he says, Livingston the Lion. Love it. Clever.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not
I,
mad.
I appreciate that actually. Yes,
Yes. So
very much.
we get a monologue here, an explanatory monologue by
Oh, thank
Livingston T.
God.
Lion.
Yeah.
He says, yes, Animalia has existed since the dawn of time. And one of the kids
Mm.
says, when was that? And Livingston goes,
You know,
on a
one of the kids, Zoe said that. You know.
You're so right. You're so right.
I
Yeah,
know for a
when?
fact. When? Prove it.
Pictures or didn't happen. You're so
Yeah.
right. You're so right. It's absolutely so he fucking says that. Livingston is unbothered though. He says on a Tuesday at about 5. Oh yeah, he's obviously kind of
Oh,
British.
yeah. Yeah.
And he says that since then, since the dawn of time, they've been able to live in peace among the other animals, all these different species here
Mhm.
in Animalia, due to the ability to speak and communicate with one another in a civilized, peaceful manner. And
Mhm.
by the way, this monologue is intercut, like back and forth from Livingston to the animals on the other side of the door, like straight up this fucking mob, like
Like
pounding on
angry
the
mob.
door, like
We're a peaceful
roaring at each
species here
other.
in
Yeah.
Animalia.
We speak in a civilized manner. Torch, like pitchfork, like they're climbing on top of each other, like clawing at this door. Kaboobu's like rocking, trying to keep it shut.
Want to get back? Like, yep, super peaceful here.
We're all good, all good.
Yeah, we're very
And
accepting.
it's like I feel like this moment that I was like, the writers are pretty funny. Like this show's
Yeah.
actually pretty
Yeah, that's pretty
clever.
clever.
I'm into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So Livingston goes on to say that this is all possible, like language, communication, information, all of this stuff. All of this is possible thanks to the core, like all of their communication abilities and like peace within Animalia is
Hmm.
possible thanks to the core that when it's healthy, like glows gold, basically. And we see it kind of like
Okay.
intercut with that. It's glowing gold, it's peaceful, everything is great. But
Yeah.
a month ago, the core cracked, and these things called the core spores flew
Hmm.
out. Is this helping with your episode
This
yet?
is helping a bit. Yes,
Okay,
yes, it
great.
is.
Good. Also, my like camera got out of focus and I'm like, because I just
I
moved
didn't
so
notice that.
much.
Yeah, it'll come back eventually.
Yeah, whatever. Let's see what
There's a lot
happens.
of animation going on with
I'm
us
just
in this
unwell about
show.
this episode.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'll run through that again. The core keeps
Hmm.
everything peaceful in Animalia, including communication,
Yes.
etc., etc. It somehow cracked, and we see what this core spore is. Basically, we see just like these like glowing lights shoot
Hmm.
out from the
Yes.
core. And
Mhm.
when this is
Which is
happening,
in the library, like town hall thing
exactly.
too, right? Yeah.
Yep. And
Okay.
there's like it's like has like
It's
it
like
has a
the
little
center of the
skylight.
world.
Yes, basically,
Yes.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the center of the world. It's like the heart of this planet is or of
Hmm.
Animalia is this core.
Interesting that it's a library too. So much to unpack with this. There's a lot of
So
meta
much.
commentary that now that you're putting
Again, these
context to it,
writers
I'm
are pretty
realizing this show is pretty
clever.
crazy in a good
Yes, for
way.
peace
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
communication, you need peace.
And ties
Anyways,
to the whole educational PBS theme too that we're going with. So, anyways, but we'll get to that
yes,
more in a minute.
exactly.
Yes.
So, yes, we see these core spores fly out and go, like one or two fly across the kingdom.
Hmm.
I think maybe actually only one, yeah, flies out. And as it zips away, we see a crack, or basically like a thunder crack in the sky. And this is when the clouds
Hmm.
all form over and block out the sun. And
Yeah.
yes, Livingston says that ever since this crack formed that like Reedy and I are trying to fix, Animalia has fallen into darkness, and we need to restore the core to save Animalia.
Mm, okay.
But is
Mm.
this things are clicking for
So
you?
much. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
And even
God.
just within this episode, like,
Good. Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Just, anyways.
Good, good, good. So Livingston, though, feels hopeful, not just because of like Reedy and him working on things, but because of what they discovered, I think, as they were like cracking into the core. And they like, I think they project on like what they saw on the computer, like into the core itself. And we see in the core an image of Alex and Zoe walking. And Livingston says
Oh.
that he thinks that they were sent here, that like the portal came to them because they were meant to help them solve
We've got
and
a
restore
prophecy.
the core. We've got a prophecy, baby. To
We love a
which
good prophecy.
Zoe and Alex just jaws agape,
Yeah.
amazed. Zoe says, if this is a true reflection of us, of ourselves, Alex, you really need a haircut.
Ah! This bitch. Love her.
Zoe,
Mm, love
damn.
her.
She's like, yeah, I'll fucking save your world, but not with him looking like
You get a
this.
haircut first.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna be all over
This?
the news and everything.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to clean
We're gonna
up.
need to fix this. I can't be seen with this. So at this, we hear the doors creaking, they're breaking. And
Oh boy.
Alex looks to Livingston and says, like, well, what do we do? What do we have to do? And Livingston says, easy. Start with what comes first. Not only do we have a prophecy, we have a riddle.
Damn it. I don't know if you could see the confusion in my face, like trying to do the math, like what came first in
What
that thing.
what
Okay.
came first? What are they talking about? So as the
Okay.
mob breaks in, Alex and Zoe run kind of to be up next to the core.
Not a good time for a riddle when an
Not
angry
a good
mob
time for a
is
riddle.
breaking
An
down
angry
your front
mob
door,
of
literally.
predators, of things that could
Yes.
crush you
Very large
immediately.
wild animals. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
But as this happens, Alex and Zoe realize what comes first. And it's, I guess, this world's answer. I guess they are animals, so they would know. To the age-old question, what came first?
The
The
chicken?
chicken
Oh
or the
no!
egg?
I was joking. Oh no. Really? Oh, okay. Got it. All
They
right. Okay.
realize they
Yes.
found an egg earlier
Yeah.
today.
Forgot about that
So
almost.
as the mob breaks in, Alex and Zoe take that glowing stone that had an egg inside and they go up
Hmm.
to one of the cracks in the core and just shove that shit right in there.
Mm.
And immediately, this glowing, swirling core turns gold. And they confirm
Mm.
that this glowing rock with an egg inside was indeed a core spore.
Okay.
The one that had flown away, they got it and they were able to put it back into the core. And as this happens, the clouds above part and the sun comes out, and everyone starts to cheer for the sun, the core, the humans. Well, most everyone. Allegra and Tyrannicus look kind of pissed about this.
Yeah.
And so they all run out to be in the sun. They're so happy. And Livingston wants to show his thanks to Alex and Zoe. They're like, and Livingston's like, we really dodged some bullets here. Like, we did not really know how to fix this. And like, usually actually gets a lot worse before it gets better. So like, thank God y'all are here. Like, how can I show
Would
my
not
thanks?
have been a good first impression for their first trip to Animalia.
No.
Had it descended a little bit darker there.
Yeah, he was like, thanks so much. What can I do? And Alex is like, we're happy to help. And Zoe's like, I accept cash, check, or cash, credit, personal check. So again, motivation for Zoe.
Exactly.
She's true to herself.
She got a good head on her shoulders. Yeah,
exactly. But remember that ominous thing that Livingston just said moments ago about things get worse before they get better?
Yeah.
Suddenly, like a hungry little tummy, we hear that core rumble and then go purple and then crack in even more places.
Oh, goodness.
As even more core spores start to shoot out into the sky, and we see them falling like comets all across the mountains and jungles all around Animalia. And Livingston turns to Alex and Zoe and basically says, or like asks them like if they'll stay and help. And they agree. And that's where the first episode ends.
And exactly where the second episode begins.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah. So you can imagine why I was so confused because
like,
I mean, just a spoiler, like literally the first scene of the second episode is that exact scene. Like they're all just standing watching all these spores like explode out of, and I was like,
you're like, what?
What's going on? Why is everybody so calm?
Arrived?
Yeah. Like, why is everybody so calm? And it kind of like it gave me like volcanic vibes too. So I was like,
so like a dinosaur comet situation.
Are we about to see all these people die in the second episode? All these animals die. It was crazy. So thank you. That is good stopping point. And yeah, that's where we will pick up next week. I have so much more context now that I can rewatch my second episode, or my first episode, the second episode with. So amazing. Great job.
Great
job.
Thank you. Yeah. I think it'll be fun. The show's wild. The writers seem pretty funny.
Yes.
And between now and next week, Alexis, for your episode, who should our listeners and viewers tell about this show?
I feel like I don't know if we've done this. It would surprise me if we didn't do it, but I'm still going to say it because I can't remember, but you got to tell a librarian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Tell a librarian, either human or animal, either one works.
We're not picking.
Whatever you can find. Yeah.
Good. Okay,
who should they tell?
I think you should tell whichever one of your friends has the hottest outfits on Halloween. Much like Allegra, Halloween every day.
Particularly one who dresses Britney Spears.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Let them know. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Yeah, until then, bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.